Check out the dome. If you guys saw the City Steads video, you see the connection. This video here is going to be a collaboration tag video. The collaboration was started by Old Reading Farm. I was tagged by Josh at City Stead, and the premise of the video is if $1,000 fell into your lap, what would you do with it on the homestead? So watching their videos, they were buying tools and buying items. I'm kind of going to take a little bit of a different approach with my video. I'm more like looking at it like, what project would I do, or what loose ends can I tie up? So I started going through process of elimination and looking at all the different projects that we have around here that are high up on the list that we want to do, and kind of roughly putting a pencil to what it would cost. Before I knew it, I'm like up to 10 grand. So what I'm going to do is take you guys through some of these projects that I'm looking at, and end up showing you what I would actually do with it if it happened today. All right, so the first thing that I think about if I got a bunch of money falling into my lap, what project am I going to do? Right here, the garage. This thing needs a new roof desperately. You know, not only does it need something to cover it, but we need new plywood, new trusses. There's a lot going on here. This thing needs a lot of repair. So I haven't even really bothered trying to put a pencil to it. I think without question, I'm probably right around the 2 grand mark for this one. So the next thing I got to spend money on, my hot water heater's right in there. About 2 weeks ago, I'm walking over here minding my own business, and I hear water everywhere. I'm like, oh, okay. Open that up, the hot water heater is done. It's leaking out of the bottom, water's everywhere. At the same point in time, I come over here and I find a leak happening right here. This thing right here, that is a hot water heater copper hose, and that was set up from there. It was where this hose is. So that was leaking right in the bend there. This is a serious Jimmy rig kind of setup here, but this is what we moved into. So anyway, you know, I gotta fix this like pronto. It's like bath time, and what do I do? Tell the kids and the wife, you know, I gotta fix this pronto. So I got a hose that goes to a washer and replaced it with that. So long story short, I need to do some serious plumbing repairs. Now, I did some quick numbers. Everything in the house needs to be changed out, and not only that, but we need to repair and change everything going from the house all the way down over to the well house, right down here. And why, you say, should I change all that? It's because it's all with galvanized piping. When we did the solar, my dad was digging the trench over here, and we actually hit the galvanized pipe that brings water to the house. It was just a little bend, but everything worked out fine, didn't cause any problems. But basically, what we did find out was that the piping is literally like 3-4 inches underneath the ground over here in this one spot. And anyway, we're just having nothing but problems with the galvanized piping. The pipes are just done. Anytime we do any repairs, it's just a nightmare, and I'm afraid to really like do some of these repairs because I'm dealing with old piping that's threaded, and anytime I try and take one of these threads off to replace the broken piece, I run a risk of making the problem even worse and having to go further down the line. So, you know, my guess is these pipes are galvanized pipes. They're put in the 60s, I'm thinking, but they've ran their course. I need to like get rid of this stuff, but it's not going to happen overnight. We got to do some serious planning for that one. I can probably, for about $200, get all the piping from the well house to the house. For another $200-ish, I think I can replace all the plumbing in the house. No fixtures, just the plumbing. And that still leaves me money to like figure out if I got to hire a well guy. Anyway, there's $1,000 before you know it. That's out the window for sure. Okay, I just want to get this image of this fence in your head. So before we go on to the next project here. This has been a great fence. It's a solar electric, and it's been showing some wear and tear now because 2 winters ago a tree fell down on it, but otherwise this thing's been working great for me. Okay, so this next project I've kind of already started lining out. You see that string right there? I've got a string ran from one end of the property line all the way to the other. It's basically about 550 feet, and the whole idea is we're going to duplicate the fence that's in the horse pasture in the front, duplicate that fence, put it back here, and then we can have the horses and the goats run free on this back couple of acres. The goats can basically just keep all the weeds and brush down and whatnot, and the whole idea of moving them back here is so that we can use that barn, which is pretty much just a storage place at this point. I've got a couple of things that I can use for it, but easy, I think it's gonna roughly push me between $1,800 and $2,200. So $2,000 easy without question. Here's the next thing we're gonna throw money at. This barn, it is a resource that we are not utilizing in any means whatsoever. I've just got nothing but like junk kind of stuff in there that I don't know what else to do with. Tables, cabinets, a bunch of fish tanks, stuff like that. I'd really like to get this thing up and running so that we can use it as our main storage area for feed. We can feed our horses and goats out of it. There's a lean-to on the other side that I want to put chickens over with. Anyway, I can really use this for the whole animal central station here. And this one I think for sure is going to cost me probably easy around $3,000. Needs a whole new roof, and we want to do, I'm pretty sure we're going to probably do the roof in metal. But metal roof needs new plywood, new trusses. There's a lot of damage going on here. This one's a little more extensive than the garage because I want to change the door as well. But this would be really nice resource if we could get this up and running. So once we get the fence and we get the animals back here, then the next focus is going to be getting this up and running. The garden right here, I'll tell you, $1,000 would do a lot to expand this garden. I could easily take $1,000 and duplicate the size of this whole thing without question, and I have the room for it. It would just be a matter of buying soil and some more cattle panel to fence it off and getting some plumbing out there. I wouldn't put this one too high up on the priority list, just because this is already a self-contained thing. It is done. If I never do anything to it, there are no loose ends here. This is finished. Okay, you still with me? We're almost there. This is what it's all about. At the end of the day, if I can take that $1,000 and put it towards a project that's already been started and tie up loose ends versus start a new project, that's what I'm gonna do. Having that mindset in place brings me to the greenhouse. $1,000, I can completely finish the outside of this and then some. So, you know, I've got the mixer here, I've got the skill, I just need a little bit of material and I can finish doing the stucco work. I've got a scratch coat on the outside, which is just the base coat. What I need to do next is do the brown coat, and that's gonna basically, if you look down the side of the wall, it would even out the wall. And so $200 for cement and sand, that's all I'd need for that. And I could have the brown coat done, and then about another $200 for a color packets and stucco finish, and that all that material I could do the cosmetic of the outside. So texture or whatever, you know, however I want to do it. But $400 finishes the outside of this building. Then if we do the Home Depot special, I can, for about $250, I can put gutters on both sides of this building. That'd be a big beneficial thing here, because on the back half, when it rains, water comes down, seeps in, and gets into the greenhouse a little bit. Now, you know, this summer during the whole lockdown thing, my dad got his backhoe and dug out the back end of that. That helped tremendously. But I think by adding the gutters, I'll be solid gold on that one from there. The greenhouse will be fully done on the outside. I can mitigate as much water as possible getting in there, and ideally, I'd like to funnel that water into everything that catches on the roof. Funnel that into a storage container, and then I can use it in the aquaponics. So right now, that $650, $400 for the stucco, $250 for the gutters. That leaves me with $350 left. One thing I need to do is I've got, somewhere over here you can see it, I've got an extension cord going into the greenhouse. That extension cord is running the aquaponics, the fans, the pumps, it's running everything. I need to get an outlet in that building. Now I've got a bunch of electrical stuff already, but I feel like if I say $200 conservatively, that would probably give me everything else that I would need in order to complete the electrical side of things and get me off an extension cord. So that leaves me still with $150 to throw at the greenhouse. So this is where I would throw that last 150 bucks. This is the first aquaponics system that I actually started kind of having success with. What I want to do is basically break this thing down, move it into the greenhouse, build it bigger and better, and put edible fish in the fish tank, and take my grow space up there, and I need to make that thing way bigger than it is. So I feel like I'm kind of dialing the aquaponic stuff in at this point, but I take that last 150 bucks and use it to expand this inside the greenhouse. Everybody that I mentioned in this video, I'll leave a link to their channel in the description below. But time to tag somebody. So I'm going to tag Angel over at K&A Family Homestead. He's been doing a lot lately, hitting the videos pretty hard, so I'm sure he can come up with $1,000 to spend pretty easy. I think Almost Homestead, I'd like to see what Jay's got to do over there. He's a pretty creative guy. I'm sure he can make $1,000 go a long way. And last channel I'm going to tag is kind of a new channel to me. They are the closest YouTubers out there to me, geographically speaking, that I've found, so I kind of consider them my YouTube neighbors, so to speak. 4 kids and a farm. I'm gonna tag them, see what they got to spend money on. Anyway guys, thanks for sticking with me. See you soon.